When the Warriors have both Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler suiting up together, they're nearly unstoppable, rocking a 22 record. And in those games, Steph hasn't just been great, he's been downright terrifying. He's averaging 28.5 points on a scorching 66% true shooting. That includes a jaw-dropping 3-game stretch where he torched the Grizzlies for 52, sliced up the Lakers for 37, and then dismantled the Nuggets with a smooth 36, all in commanding wins. When Steph is dialed in like this, the Warriors become a nightmare matchup. And with just 2 weeks left before the playoffs, the rest of the NBA is on the clock, scrambling for solutions. It almost feels too casual to keep calling him the greatest shooter of all time, not because it isn't true, but because it barely scratches the surface. Steph is more than a shooter, he's an anomaly. We've seen legends in every shooting category: spot-up snipers, deadly movement shooters, lethal pull-up threats, deep-range assassins, and ice-cold contested shot makers. Steph, he's elite in all of them, and arguably the best to ever do it across the board. This season, he's shooting over 43% on catch-and-shoot threes alone. That's the foundation of his game. But the genius lies in how he creates those shots, constantly moving off ball, always hunting that sliver of space, never standing still. He's a one-man chaos engine, forcing defenses to stay glued to him at all times. Let him get even a whisper of daylight, it's over. And that's where the pressure mounts on all 5 defenders. If Steph catches it with a shred of space, the closest defender will panic, flying out to close the gap. But Steph's counters are just as lethal. If there's an outlet nearby, he'll swing it fast. If not, he's just as comfortable attacking off the catch. Using his underrated handle and quick burst to create for himself, try smothering him to take away the 3, he'll backdoor cut you into oblivion. That off-ball movement, it leaves no margin for error. Just look at this play against the Magic. Paolo Banchero tries chasing him along the arc. But when Steph pops out to the top, a single pump fake sends Paolo flying, and Steph calmly splashes the jumper. The scariest part? You never know where Steph will reappear. He could be walking it up, lulling you to sleep, and boom, quick handoff, lightning release. Shots in the air before the defense even reacts. Jalen Wells gets caught napping while Ed is too deep to challenge. That's all the window Steph needs. His movement warps the court. If Jimmy Butler drives and defenders collapse, Draymond isn't shooting, he's looking for Steph. Handoff, boom, defense is in scramble mode. And the Warriors, they love these handoff actions. If Steph comes off a screen and sees daylight, it's already too late. Most defenders try to hedge or jump out. But that just opens up the short roll. Easy money for Draymond or Jimmy to capitalize. No help on the second line? Steph turns the corner and drives it right down your throat. Brilliant decision-making in motion. Some defenders think they're clever, trying to deny the screen altogether, but that's when Steph slips backdoor. Easy layup. People don't talk enough about how often Steph pressures the rim without even dribbling, just by moving and reading. Back screens are another tool in Golden State's chaos playbook. Steph runs off one, defenders get tangled, and if help shifts to him, someone like Jimmy gets a wide open look. And if there's even a slight miscommunication, someone's left wide open. Take this play. Keon Johnson is glued to Steph, paranoid about giving up space. Cam Johnson expects a switch, but nobody actually switches. And Jimmy gets a clean triple. Even when the defense switches properly, they're not safe. Look at PJ Washington. He does everything right. But Max Christie is now out of position. Jimmy sees the mismatch, and with one hard cut, it's another layup. The Warriors will even flip it, have Steph start inside, then run him off a down screen in an empty corner. That leaves just one defender chasing with zero backup. If the switch isn't perfect, Steph's gone. And man, let's take a moment to appreciate Draymond Green. His chemistry with Steph is second to none. The timing, the reads, the angles, flawless. It's not just that Steph moves so well, it's that Draymond always finds him no matter how chaotic the set. Sometimes they'll move the screen action to the middle of the floor, same lethal formula. Steph can fly off a screen and shoot or cut, or draw help and create a domino collapse. It's a choose your poison setup. They'll even layer it, down screens and cross screens in the same action. On this play, Jimmy sets a down screen while Post sets a cross screen. Steph reads the defense, recognizes the switch coming, stops short, and Draymond fires a dart, wide open 3. Other times, they'll double the cross screens. Steph has the freedom to pick which one to use or reject both and slash straight down the gut. There's no set route. It's all feel, all reads, all chaos. When Steph's in this zone, scoring, relocating, drawing gravity, cutting, dishing, and breaking defensive schemes with sheer presence, it's not just basketball, it's art. And the league, it's running out of counterpunches. At the rim, Steph Curry is simply mesmerizing. The way he weaponizes his shot threat and blends it with perfectly timed cuts, it's surgical. Just when defenders think they've done their job, Steph slips into a whole new spot on the court like a ghost. And remember, even if a defender manages to run him off the line without help, that only opens up a runway for him to attack off the catch. So what's the best way to contain him? Send a second defender blitzing the ball, but in doing that, you're leaving the roller completely unchecked. A lot of these deadly cross screens the Warriors run start with an entry into the pinch post, where they then set up their signature chaos, split actions, and to crank the pressure up even higher. They'll throw in Steph setting a back screen for a cutter before immediately dashing off a cross screen himself, aiming to pop open as a shooter. Here's the kicker, there's basically zero margin for error. Sometimes the defense executes every rotation perfectly, and he still drills an off-balance contested fadeaway three like it's nothing. That constant motion Steph brings, it's enough to scramble even the most disciplined defenses. A simple back screen and curl from him, that's two defenders chasing a phantom, which leaves Jimmy standing wide open in space. On other sequences, Steph will run a loop around Draymond's post-up. It might look like everything's locked up defensively, but then you see Vu cheating just a little toward the paint, terrified of Steph's next move. Boom, that skip pass hits the corner for a clean open look. Now, another wrinkle they love to throw in from that pinch post setup is the flare screen. And yep, it causes just as much defensive panic. Watch how Steph comes off the flare and KCP tries to chase him over the top. Cole Anthony? He's so fixated on the cut that he sinks into the paint, and that's all PMPski needs to pop open for a three. Steph's off-ball gravity is chaos incarnate. The guy doesn't even need to touch the rock to destroy your scheme. We've never seen anything like this. A player who can shred your entire defense just by existing off-ball, and let's be honest, we may never see it again. His combination of elite movement, absurd shooting, and seamless play off the catch makes him one of the toughest covers in NBA history. And the crazy part, he's taken that skill set to a whole new tier this season. Look at the numbers. Over 60% of Steph's field goals this year have been assisted, the highest since his first MVP campaign. And an eye-popping 62% of his shot attempts are now coming from behind the arc. This version of Steph, he's become the ultimate off-ball weapon. Golden State's entire offense orbits around freeing him up without the ball, and judging by the results, it's working beautifully. Since the Warriors traded for Jimmy, they're averaging a scorching 125 points per 100 possessions with Steph on the floor. That's higher than Boston with Tatum, Indy with Halliburton, or Cleveland with Donovan Mitchell. Sit with that. Jimmy's been a crucial addition. Sure, but he hasn't even cracked 20 points per game. Draymond's elite as a passer, but defenses dare him to shoot. And yet, Steph has these guys outperforming historically great offensive teams. He's the only consistent 20-plus scorer on the roster. But everything is built around leveraging his gravity, and it's unlocking the entire floor for everyone else. When teams manage to stall the Warriors' off-ball chaos, Steph just flips the switch and turns into a traditional point guard. That's when the pull-up shooting comes alive. He's drilling nearly 38% of his threes off the dribble, taking 6 per game, 7th most in the league. These aren't your average open looks either. He's pulling from 30 feet off balance, through defenders, doesn't matter. Most of these come out of high ball screen actions where Steph does most of his on-ball cooking. If he sees drop coverage or even a split-second delay in the help defense, he's firing from deep, no hesitation. Again, it's another no-win scenario. If the big hedges out too softly, Steph turns the corner and punishes them off the bounce. He's not as explosive as his peak years, but his agility and finishing touch remain elite, and unless you trap him completely, he's scoring, or he's finding the open man every time. If you like this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you're first to catch the next one.